Howdy y'all. Well, today I'm doing the most controversial video I've ever done in my life. Because I'm going to talk about helmets. A couple of things prompted me to do this video. One is Mike Big Easy Rider asked me about a helmet I was wearing, and the other thing is a few videos ago I was out riding and I didn't have a helmet on. And rightly so, I got a little bit chastised by you guys for that. When I started riding in the very early 70s, like 70 or 71, 1900, not 1800, 1900, you're pretty much a sissy if you wore a helmet. Not that that ever mattered to me. If the helmet was what I wanted at that time and if it felt right, I would have worn it, not caring what anybody else said. And you have to remember, there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't any social media. There really wasn't any talk about motorcycle safety and things like that. And I'm going to say a couple things. And to some of you, it'll be a lame excuse, okay? Or they will be lame excuses. First time I tried a helmet, and it had to be no earlier than, say, the late 70s or so, early 80s. Well, I'm sorry, it might have been earlier than that. But anyways, first time I put on a helmet, man, what an uncomfortable thing. And then riding with it, immediately noticed how detrimental it was to my field of vision. I couldn't see, and I've always ridden where I look, you know, instead of counting on a mirror, I look because of blind spots and stuff. And the other thing was, couldn't hear anything. And I really didn't consistently start wearing a helmet on the highway until they started really raising the speed limits on the highway. It used to be all throughout the nation, it was like 55 miles an hour max. And that was fine. As you know, you ride today at 55 and you think, you know, you're hardly moving. It's relatively speaking, when most of the highways now, you know, people are zipping along at 80 miles an hour. So yeah, I rode, and I rode without helmets. Most of my riding was around towns like Virginia Beach and stuff like that. Helmet on, I couldn't see hardly anything, you know, in comparison to not wearing a helmet, and I couldn't hear things. And I remember, and to this day, I notice that a lot. So, let's zip way forward to today. There are times I don't wear a helmet. If it's 90-some degrees out and I'm riding in the city of Victoria, going from one place to another, you know, maybe some errands or something, yeah, I'll have my helmet strapped to the passenger's sissy bar. And when I get out on the highway, I may or may not put it on. I mean, most of the time, I'm going to be wearing things like, let's see, where do I have some of those? Yeah, I'm going to be wearing do-rags. Do-rags and goggles. Which, by the way, I really like these goggles. I mean, they're comfortable, they block real good, they're fine in the sun. But I have clear goggles, I have a bunch of different types of goggles. And, you know, I'll throw on a do-rag. I know I've got a bunch out in the shed too. But yeah, I'll have a do-rag on. Pretty little skulls. Very cool one. But I guarantee I've got 40 do-rags. Guarantee you. Camo. Camo. do-rag. But I've got a bunch more packed away out in the shed. So I'll wear do-rags and goggles. Now, I will refrain from doing any videoing while I'm on the bike and I have that attire, but I'm going to continue doing that. I'll also mention, I had some friends and associates that were doctors in, let's see, it had to be the late 70s, before I moved to Texas. And I'll never forget the first one. I was on my bike, or I had a helmet on my bar or something, and I'm talking to this doctor. And he says, you know what we call those? Referring to my helmet. He says, you know what we call those in the ER? And I said, no, what? And he says, we call them brain buckets. He says that's all they're good for, is people come in, they're wearing a helmet, and all they do is they catch your brains. Now, I don't believe that, but this was what he said, jokingly, I'm sure. And but that always stuck with me. And it belittled in my mind, if you're in an accident, you know, out driving down the road 75 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour, and you get hit or something, it belittled in my mind what that protection is going to do for you. You know, was it going to save your life, or was it not going to save your life? Now, that is stupid, and I'll admit it. I mean, I'm sure there's many more cases of people that have worn a helmet, been in an accident, and it really did save their lives, versus people avoiding an accident because they didn't have a helmet on and they could see what was happening or hear something, and they didn't get in an accident because of that, which I will attest to. I have been in that situation where I heard something I don't think I would have heard on it with the helmet on, or I saw something that I don't think I would have seen with a helmet on, and I might have avoided an accident. That's, I know you're going to say lame excuse. But anyways, moving on. So there will be times, no matter what anybody says, there will be times that I don't wear a helmet, and partly creature to habit, partly because of my real beliefs, a lot in part because of how I feel comfortable in extreme heat riding at slow speeds on the motorcycle. So with that said, again, I'll reiterate that I will avoid doing any videos while I'm riding the bike, having the camera on me, going down the road, and no helmet. Okay. The only other thing I should say is I rode a helmet more because of motor vlogging than I ever wore a helmet in my life. So, anyways, moving on. As I mentioned, Mike Big Easy Rider asked me about a helmet, and he asked me about this helmet. And these Built helmets, it's the Roadster from Built, my favorite helmet of all times. And let me tell you why. Number one, it really does have good padding in it, or let me say mediocre to good, okay? Because some of you guys are going to say that other helmets have incredible padding, this and that. But when I was riding the Bergman 650, I went out to Cycle Gear to get a white helmet. And I happened upon these in the store on sale, and I would have paid 3 times the amount of money easily to have this helmet. And I put it on, and my ears, perfect, fit right in there. I noticed right away my field of vision better than any helmet I had ever worn. I mean, I can turn my head a little bit and I can see behind me. It really does provide a nice field of vision. Obviously, it's still going to block out some of the hearing, but that's the nature of a helmet, other than a half helmet, which I have one of those in the shed. I don't know why I ever bought it. It's got padding on it that thick, and it comes out the ear on me. It's the weirdest thing. Mushroom head. I mean, really. It's the weirdest thing I've ever put on my head, especially and then gotten on a motorcycle. Can't tell you why I bought it. No idea. So, these come in a bunch of different colors. I got the white one that day. It's a gloss white. And that helmet held up so good. Eventually, the back part here started wearing out, and then the little trim here started coming loose, the glue. But of course, that's after literally years of riding in Texas heat and everything else, but it just held up so good, so I got them. The only other thing ever happened with one of these helmets is these screws here came loose, and I had to tighten them and replace one, but it's worked good every time. And I do like the functionality of the visor. It does work really nice. And the other thing that I love about this helmet is, unlike my other helmets, I can't name another helmet that I can do this with. My sunglasses just fit so comfortable on this. Most of my other helmets, the padding, where it's sectioned inside between your eye level, there's usually a section, and it's always out of whack from where I would put my glasses, and it forces it into a crevice that is just uncomfortable, or the padding pushes the glasses into my head, and it really hurts. I can ride all day with sunglasses on and this helmet on. So I like it a lot. Can you tell? And I have it in black, and I have it in the cross between red and maroon, that same color as the bike. So, my other helmets, this is an incredible helmet in the winter. And even though it's DOT approved, it's got thick padding and everything else, here's why I like it. It's got a zipper thing. Goes all the way around here, a thick skirt that goes on it. Comes down, no wind is getting in there, no chill. This is the warmest helmet I've ever, when it's cold outside, your head does not know it. I love this helmet for that. And this is actually a snowmobile helmet, but it's got the DOT stamp on it. It's very inexpensive. Oh, I meant to mention something too. When Mike Big Easy Rider asked me about the Roadster helmet, I gave him an answer, replied, and gave him the link. And when I clicked up the link, these helmets normally go for 99 bucks. Periodically, they're on sale for $49 like they are right now. I can't believe this helmet is $49. Okay, I've seen a lot of cheap helmets. Even though it's 49 bucks on sale at Cycle Gear, I would not call it cheap. Okay, inexpensive, on sale, a bargain, anything like that. But to me, that's not a cheap helmet. So, anyways, and here's my other. This helmet is hooked up with the internal mic and the speakers for the Sena products. It's got all the stuff for the communication device and for the Prism. So, but neither of these helmets can I at all wear comfortably any kind of sunglasses or anything. Like I said, the only helmet that I've ever gotten that I was really comfortable wearing sunglasses with was the Bilt Roadster. So, I'm going to cut this off. I probably rambled on a little long, but I should have done this video. I should do it, and it's part of me. There are times I don't wear a helmet. If that offends anybody, I'm sorry, but this late in life, I'm just not going to change. I do wear it much more often than I used to. I went from never wearing one to wearing one when the highway speeds went up, to wearing one when I was motor vlogging, to now I I wear one more often than I don't. But if I'm cruising around town and it's 95 degrees out, 100 degrees out, and I'm cruising around from point A to point B in the city at 35 miles an hour, you can bet your bottom dollar that helmet is strapped to a sissy bar. That's it. Talk to you in a sec. Alright, I'm going to wrap up the helmet video. I should mention something about those helmets so I don't make them sound like, you know, the built Roadster helmet is the end to all ends of helmets. You guys are used to $200-$300 helmets. I think you give it credit for what it is, especially at the price, but it wouldn't be your cup of tea. They are noisy. I left that out. You know, I don't know if they're more noisy than other helmets that have that type of design. What are they, 3/4 helmets with a shield, open face, shield, whatever. I don't know if they're more noisy than those or less noisy, but they are noisy. You know, it's something that I'm used to. I didn't even mention it in the video because, you know, it matters not to me. They're probably noisier than when I don't wear a helmet, because when I don't wear a helmet, I wear earplugs, swimmer's plugs. Keep out the wind, but I can still hear things. So, that's it for today. Got any comments, opinions? Happy to hear them. Good, bad, whatever. I love your comments no matter what. I appreciate you watching. Be strong, be happy, whether you're wearing a helmet or not. Be happy. And be a good neighbor. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.